Okay, peeps, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about what the potential payout could be for QQQY or triple QY in November, and whether it's going to yield up to 135% or not. Let's get it. So the first thing I want to bring up here is you guys can see on our Robinhood portfolio, we have been adding to this position. Like we told you guys before, the reason why we're adding to it is because we actually have way more capital in both of our other brokerage accounts. And we also have a lot of capital in crypto too. I think we have, at this point, it's quite a bit over 5 figures in crypto, which is a very small portion of our overall total net worth. And we're basically, um, it's a very tiny portion of our portfolio. We'll just put it like that. So we kind of want to try to get everything equalized out here. But as you guys can see, we have been adding quite a bit on this portfolio here to the triple QY position. You can see we only have one share of JEPY, but we currently have a little over 12 shares of triple QY. We've pretty much just been adding to this and the Coney ETF for the entire month. We also have been putting some money into crypto, so not everything is going towards dividend paying stocks right now. But if we go ahead and click on this position, you guys can see that we're down a little bit, but the fund itself, I believe, is actually up on the day. So yeah, it's up roughly about, I think, 0.69%. So we'll take a look at the NASDAQ here in a second, but trying to scroll down here and show the history. You guys can see that we did actually get paid a dividend for one share on the previous month. So we bought one share just to kind of test it out. We got paid $1.10 per share. So now if I go ahead and add up what we'll get paid in the month of November, assuming that everything remains the same, we have 12.15 shares times $1.10 per share. We'll get paid $13.30 in passive income just from this position alone. And keep in mind, it is only the middle of the month. The next X date is not going to be until the beginning of next month, so we have a couple more weeks to accumulate. Now, let's get into the reason why I bring up this monstrous yield that I'm talking about. So you guys can see that the funds basically just had its first month. I think it was this month. Yeah. So 67.55% distribution rate, which is absolutely monster. That's a huge yield. It does pay monthly. So here's basically what we're looking at. So the fund inception was on the 13th, right? And if we go over here to the charts, you guys can see on TradingView that it started publicly trading on the 14th. And we scroll down here down to the first declaration date. You can see that the declaration date, basically when they said they were going to pay out the dividend, was on the 29th. And you guys can see here on the gap, there's a gap here. So it's pretty clear that the dividend was either being paid out or about ready to be paid out also on the 29th. Now let's take a look at the calendar here. We'll scroll back to September. You guys can see the last day of the month was the 30th of September. However, markets are not open on Saturday. Markets are only open, well, the stock market anyways is only open Monday through Friday, right? So the last trading day of September would have been on the 29th. So with all that being said, you basically have about a 2-week gap between the inception date, which is the 13th. First trading date was on the 14th. Again, if we go back and look at the calendar, I guess maybe they had to bring it to inception before it could actually be traded because these were both technically market trading days. But you can see there's a 2-week discrepancy here. So basically what I'm hinting at is if the yield for only 2 weeks was 67.55%, if we add that number up, we basically double it because, instead of 2 weeks worth of trading, we get 4 weeks worth of trading, assuming that everything remains the same. You come out with 135% yield. Now, In terms of what the dollar amount would be, that's actually quite difficult to say because the price is slightly lower than it was upon inception, which typically happens. I mean, again, you guys got to understand this is based on the NASDAQ. Both the NASDAQ and the S&P have not really been doing much. They're kind of in a chop zone. They're just trading sideways. We're not really into the full bullish swing at the end of the year that we typically see just yet. I'll get into that in another video. That's not what this video is about. But if we assume that the dividend payout is basically double the yield, double the amount, you're talking about $2.20 per share, which I know sounds crazy, but I mean, you guys got to understand it's possible. We've had options traders come on this channel and tell us that they, in their own trades that they're able to make 2+% in income or profit or whatever it may be on the initial amount invested on a monthly basis. That's 24% a year. And that might actually be conservative. I don't know, but I can tell you guys right now, we have made hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a day. We're in a single trade, trading futures. Also with crypto, there was a point where we were making over 5 figures a month just in crypto. So it's definitely possible to make a lot of money. It's hard to say exactly what the upside is, but for simplicity's sake, we'll just say that you bought 100 shares of this, hypothetically, not financial advice, and you got $2.20 per share. That would put you at an extra $220 a month. If you bought 1,000 shares, which, I'm not sure if we're ever going to own 1,000 shares, but maybe we'll start out with like 50 or thereabouts. You would get about $2,200 a month. But even if it was still stayed at $1.10, you'd still get $1,100 a month. That's a good deal. When the truth is, to own 100 shares costs you, I think it's like just under $2,000 to buy that many shares for that much income. So it's a pretty amazing deal as far as I'm concerned. I've been a dividend investor, stock investor. We've invested in these markets since 2016, like we told you guys, and we have never seen anything like this. So the possibilities clearly are endless. So with that being said, we will take a quick look at the NASDAQ. So you guys can basically see on the daily chart, as you guys can see, NASDAQ hasn't really kind of been doing a whole lot here. It's basically just been chopping sideways between this, I would say roughly about 15,900 level to 15,300, and the support zone being roughly 14,400 to 14,500. So it's a really, really tight range. You're talking maybe 1,000 points here, which, I mean, in the grand scale of things, compared to the overall value of the NASDAQ is a lot. It's like 6 to 7%, maybe 8%. But when we scroll out here, you guys can see that compared to what's happened since January, not really a whole lot going on. So as we told you guys before, basically September was going to be, we expected it to be a bearish month. It has kind of poured over into October a little bit, as you can see, before we started rallying. This is typical seasonality for the markets. August, usually it's mainly September, but maybe in the last 2 weeks of August and the first 2 weeks of October, it could start and end at those points. It kind of depends. Not every year's bearish seasonality is the same. Typically, either the beginning to the second half of October all the way through the end of the year is typically bullish. If we take a look at the SPX, you guys can also see something similar. So basically, the SPX has also been doing something pretty similar. So basically, we have gone from 4,600 to 4,200, and we're kind of just vacillating in that area. As you guys can see, once we broke above the support back in May of this year, we haven't really gone in one direction or another. We've kind of just gone sideways within this large range here. We haven't hit the all-time highs yet, but we also haven't broken to new lows. So when that happens, that is considered to be a range. In trading terms, that's what's called a range. So yeah, anyways, this is our video on QQQY. We do think, personally, we think that the yield's going to be much higher just based on the fact that this thing only traded for 2 weeks. But we'll just have to wait and see. Our plans are kind of to pick up pretty much more shares of Clip, and also the we pretty much plan on picking up the Defiance ETFs and Clip pretty much right up until I would say Clip's X date, and then we're going to switch back over to Yield Max and basically do the dividend capture strategy that we talked to you guys about to maximize yield and reinvestments. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see y'all later. Peace.